Good morning, friends, and welcome to Take Two for this Monday, May the 21st, 2018. This morning I come to you with a bit of a heavy heart. I always try to make these Take Twos uplifting and encouraging, but sometimes I myself go through some difficult times and some challenges and some sadness. And this is one of those times that I have some grief and sadness in my heart. I want to talk to you a little bit today about a portrait of bravery. One of the bravest human beings I've ever had the opportunity to know has left this world and gone on to heaven as of this weekend. And that was my dear, good friend Leslie's daughter, Kirsten. Kirsten had a rare pulmonary disease. And 22 years ago, bless her, she was given 4 to 5 years to live with this diagnosis. Nobody even quite knew what it was that she had because it was so strange and the symptoms were so confusing. And she was even on the show Mystery Diagnosis, her story was told. But in that extra almost 2 decades that she was blessed with, that the doctors never thought that she would make it, this young woman managed to do a number of things that folks that have unlimited time and never would accomplish. She was able to, she loved Disney. She was just a Disney freak, and she was able to make numerous trips down to Disney and Disney World. And she also had an opportunity when she got old enough and she was finishing school. She said to her parents that she wanted to try her hand at going through a Disney internship program. And she was accepted and she went and she completed that. And that was one of the joys of her life. She made dear friends and fell in love with Florida, and from that she decided she wanted to stay a little bit longer and go to a rather progressive college, university, and work on a degree. And this school being what it was for creative people, she managed to get a 4-year degree in a little under 2. She was remarkable. She was a pretty amazing young lady. And for any of you out there who have ever had children and you lost them, it's kind of an odd thing, because to have your child pass away before you do must be just something that you can't even describe. Now, I've never had children of my own, but I do have dear people in my family and dear friends who have gone through this, including my own grandmother. When my mother's sister passed away in her 50s, and I remember my grandmother in her 70s crying at the funeral, saying it's not supposed to be this way. And she was crying because a parent isn't supposed to outlive a child. But every day with Kirsten was a gift, because anything over those 4 or 5 years that she was half-heartedly promised by the specialists was going to be a gift every single day. And she cheated death so many times. She carried on as if there was no illness. She carried on as if it was the type of thing where she could just keep going. And she kept going. She did so many things. She did amazing and remarkable things. She was very, very involved with the organization, the foundation for the illness that she had. The illness was called PHH. It was a pulmonary hypertension disease, and it was the Periwinkle Foundation. She was very involved with that. She was invited to speak. She was written up in medical journals because doctors couldn't believe how long she was still managing to hang on. So when she went, it was quick. It was very quick. But I have to say, she has to be the example to me of one of the bravest human beings I've ever met in my lifetime. She was 36. So, she had the teen years and she had the college years and all that. And was she a normal kid like in every other respect? Yes, of course she was. Was she a rambunctious teenager like most teenagers are? And did she just absolutely have to have the latest fashions and the latest trends? And did she just love going to the movies and seeing things, the movie stars? Of course she did, because she was just normal in every other way. She just happened to have this dreaded disease. But again, I can't stress it enough. One of the single most bravest human beings I've ever known. And I want to kind of just cap it off with this. Of course, her parents are devastated through this. She was an only child. And one of the things that her mom told me this morning was that there was someone who was in Kirsten's life who she parted ways with on not very good terms. And when she did, I don't know exactly how it all transpired, but I don't think there was ever amends made because of this bad departure that they had with one another. And that person telephoned Leslie this morning and said, I heard the news, and that person was crying and saying, I'm so sorry, I'm devastated over this, and so on. And she said something very interesting, Leslie, to the person who was on the other end. She said, when I left my daughter at the hospital the day before she got, where she was going to be unconscious and was about to pass, she said, the last words that I ever had with Kirsten was, she said to me, I love you, Mom. And she said, and that is always something I'll carry in my heart. The last words I ever heard my daughter speak was, I love you, Mom. And she said to the person on the other end, what were the last words you ever had with her? And I know that she wasn't trying to be mean or anything, but it was just something that struck a chord to say, remember, you may have words with somebody and it's the last words you ever have with them. So please, think about that, especially someone who might be sickly or someone who's elderly or someone that you may not see for a long time. Don't leave on bad terms. Always try to be positive, even if you're not best of friends. And you can't be best of friends with everybody, obviously not. But please, remember that. That is a very important point I'd like to make today. Two things. Number one, if you think that you're brave, look at the life of this young woman and say, wow, that was bravery. Just pushing on and pressing on right to the very end. And the other thing I want to say is this. Go be a blessing to somebody today. Really mean it, you guys. Really mean it, boys and girls. Go be a blessing, because you might end up being the only one who is, but also it may be your last interaction with that person that you're blessing, and you want to always be leaving in a good way, okay? That's important. I would appreciate if you could come and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeanne Sigler, Jeanne Sigler. And you can look back on past Take Twos, maybe some that are a little more exciting than this one. This one I just had to do because it was a simple tribute that I had to make to one of the bravest human beings I've ever known in my entire life. And now the time to be really brave goes to the family and the ones left behind. And if you can remember, please pray for that family. God knows who they are. And maybe that's a way you can be a blessing to people you're never going to meet, is by praying for them for comfort and peace at this time. And one thing that I do know is that for the rest of my life, I will always have embedded deep in my heart a portrait of bravery like no other I've ever seen in my life. So, Kirsten, will miss you. Leslie, Robert, so sorry for your loss. It's my loss too. I've known Leslie since I was 5. I've known Kirsten since she was born. And it's a little bit of a rough road ahead, but God is good. And He'll sustain with peace through this incredibly challenging time. All right. Tune into WRMZ.org. If you get a chance, listen to some soothing, beautiful music. I'd appreciate that. And I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30. Sorry I was a little late. I had an appointment this morning, but please tune in tomorrow at 9:30. Okay, I love you all. Bye-bye.